Welcome to Assessing and Addressing Workforce Performance Solutions by Design. I'm Karen Carlton of Performance Solutions in Edmonton. This is the second part in a three-part series on workforce performance. Today we're going to talk about the 5 conditions that support performance in the workplace. So just quickly as an overview, we'll talk about those 5 conditions, and they are having employees know what they need to do specifically, how to do it, being equipped to do it, wanting to do it, and having the supportive interactions in the workplace. Here is the Performance Maximizer model created by Tony Reutmeyer of Calgary. It brings all of those conditions together, and as you can see at the center is great performance. The first condition is making sure people know exactly what to do. So this involves having clear expectations, so going beyond the job description, having specific targets to focus on for their work. So for a project manager, that might mean not only knowing what he needs to accomplish, by when, but also to what standards and in what way. Also, knowing what to do involves having that clear outcome of what needs to be achieved. It could also mean being aware of best practices. So again, for a project manager, that might even include using things such as Microsoft Project or Microsoft SharePoint to be able to set those milestones up and make sure that projects get delivered on time and under budget. Second condition is making sure people are able to do it, or they have the capacity. And if you look at the whole picture, that means they have the mental, the physical, the social, the emotional pieces in place. If they are lacking knowledge and skills, there's a great opportunity for training. So let's take the example of a football player. They would have to be physically strong, free of injury, and have that winning mentality to compete and win. Additionally, being able to perform means they're a good fit for the job, for the task, and for the organization. It also means that people will benefit by building capacity through learning or training and coaching. Another condition for performance is making sure people have the resources they need to be able to do the job. So this means having the coworkers, having the time, having the budget. All of those things need to be in place so that people are able to do the job because they've got the equipment. So for example, with a construction worker, they would have tools, PPE, and perhaps job plans for doing a job. Additionally, they would also have systems in place, could even be signs and plans for being able to create job hazard analyses, that kind of thing. And typically, people do need to be motivated to do the job. Generally, this is something that people are blamed for lacking. However, more often than not, it's a product of other conditions, not necessarily an intrinsic lack of motivation. Intrinsic motivation is that burning desire deep down to do a good job and to contribute to the workplace and to complete those tasks. Of course, it helps if people have recognition, they've gotten thanked, and they've had some positive feedback. However, we all have different motivators intrinsically. And I'll give you one example. I worked with a plant operator who was given a 5% raise for every area certification she received. There were 6, and I thought, wow, that sounds great. And she told me that no, she wasn't motivated to simply get raises based on advanced certifications. She showed me what motivated her. We went to the coffee room and she showed me a chart that had stars on it showing operator competencies in different areas. She wanted to be equal to her senior coworkers. That was what was motivating her. And in thinking about motivation, having people who are motivated with you in the workplace helps a lot. So that could be coworkers, it could be your boss. You want to have people that show a good positive attitude. If not, it can drag down your morale and your performance. Incentives matter to some degree because you want to have meaningful incentives or tangibles. So for example, if you rewarded somebody with a Starbucks card when they're not a coffee drinker, probably not too motivating. So think about for a moment, what are the motivators in your organization? What are the motivators in your job? And the final condition that supports workforce performance is having supportive interactions. This really is how things are done around here and how we treat others. So this really goes throughout the organization between coworkers, colleagues, and as well with supervisors. So in a safety context, that could mean I have your back. And that trust builds bonds. As well, you want supportive interactions with the leaders or supervisors in your organization so that they can hold people accountable in a respectful way and interact positively. They should also help achieve and set the vision for the organization and be supportive of employees experiencing ongoing learning and improvement. Think about some of the interactions that you've noticed in your organization. Are they characterized by respect, encouragement, support? To recap, the conditions for great performance are that you want staff to know specifically what they need to do. They need the capacity to do those tasks. They need to be equipped to do it. As well, they need the intrinsic motivation and the meaningful extrinsic motivators. And finally, you want to have interactions that really support people working together in a positive way. Click like below if you'd like to subscribe to this video. And you can also click here to see the other videos in this series. Thanks, and we'll see you in part 2.